Dead guy, yo, where's the camera, bro? It's not on.
There we go.
Sorry, you struggle. There
It's
we
all
go.
good.
We got it. We got it. There we go. We got it.
So I had that glitch that happens in VR chat when just your mic suddenly gets cut off and you have to like switch it back between an old one to or the previous one to a different one and back
Oh
again.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That happens to me all the time.
It's a
It drives
feature.
me insane.
It's a feature.
Clearly.
Yeah. So how you doing today?
Doing really good actually. So got some interesting news about some personal situation going on lately that is actually really good. By comparison to some of the bad that was happening recently. So I don't know how much detail I should get
It's up
into.
to you.
But,
It's up to you. It's whatever you're comfortable with
Um,
sharing on stream.
yeah, okay. Well, I'm pretty much an open book, so it's not a big deal to me. But yeah, I recently my father-in-law was into the hospital and stuff like that. He had to go in for a major surgery, had to get part of his leg amputated, and he had some post-surgical complications with his heart. And the whole time the hospital was telling us like, oh yeah, like he's palliative, it's end stage, like things are going rough. I like stopped. I was like, okay, like stream's not gonna happen this week at all. And like I was like, I don't know when it's gonna happen again because I need to get this all figured out with my partner.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so they kept telling us like, oh yeah, he's got like 15% of his heart working and stuff. Like things are rough. And then they shipped him off. Up north to a different hospital, and when they finally got there, they were like, "Oh no! The staff all there that were telling you the wrong stuff. He's coming here for rehabilitation for his leg, and for a treatment plan for his heart. He has 50% of his heart working, which is still bad, but like it's not 15. It's severely different. Like that's the difference between like a couple of weeks and like potentially like a year." So we're like, oh well,
What is this? NA healthcare?
Yeah.
What the? What?
Oh my god, no! They have like screwed up on so many different things every step of the way, including like the visitation and stuff, because they kept saying like, oh no, like we get from two different sides from the same hospital. The nurse that was leading the ward, the critical cardiac care, was like, no, like you're allowed to come in anytime. He's palliative, like he can have as many guests as he wants. Essentially, even during COVID, like this is end of life. And then the person that was at the ward, at the front desk for the ward and stuff like that, was like, no, you can't. Like no one's allowed in right now. Like we was such back and forth all the time. And of course, my partner and her sister are like, we want to see my dad. Like, it's been a gong show, but we did find out recently that he's doing actually a lot better than we were expecting, and that he's actually going to be going through physical rehabilitation for his leg, and getting a treatment plan, not end of life. So we're like, oh, thank God.
Jeez, come on, America, what's going
It's
on?
been a hell of a week.
What the heck?
Well, here's the funny thing. This is in Canada.
Oh God, I'm Canadian
We're
too.
supposed to be better than this. It's not like it's private healthcare either.
Yeah.
It's been a whole thing. Oh yeah, I wasn't sure if I should be kind of like my usual attire, or if I should kind of be more like, hey, like I'm the streamer, I'm the human person, or what am I supposed to be?
It's whatever you want, as long as it's, safe. That's
I mean, because I've also got like the demon version of things.
Oh
like, hi, like,
shit!
I'm a fucking demon.
Don't. I'm innocent. I didn't do anything.
I wasn't sure which kind of like style you were looking for.
Oh, it's whatever you want to be. It's whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to be a demon, if you want to kill me later tonight, that's all right with me, as long as I respawn. Yeah. Anyway. So.
Yeah.
So let's start with with your name, NiteByte. Why did you choose to be NiteByte? Like that's your name, that's your online handle.
Yeah, so it's kind of like two-stage on that one. So the Nite and Byte are kind of have two different reasons as to why I chose the different sections of them. Nite was actually super simple. It makes, pretty quick sense. My partner would usually use the online handle Mini Midnight. Don't know why she chose it.
Okay.
But I was always like, oh yeah, like it's a cute name, it's a nice name. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a riff off that, and I'll do something like Night. And I always really enjoyed. Well, I'm actually a programmer by education, and B, I always enjoyed other people's usernames with byte at the end of it, like Mia Byte or my friend Freckle Bites. And I was like, you know what? I would like that as well. So I did. I was like, I'm gonna go with NiteByte. Well, so actually, I think I came up with something else different. As it was originally, I put together, it was like Byte Night or something like that, or something ridiculous like that. And my partner was actually the one that was like, hey, why not go with NiteByte instead? And I was like, oh fuck, that's really good. So she's actually the one that really came up with the vast majority of it.
Okay, nice. I mean, it's a good name, you know.
Yeah, I originally started as NiteByte Plays because I originally started off as a variety game streamer, and yeah, I did that for quite some time, and I was saving up through Twitch and doing all this to get VR and eventually get into here. And I was like, yeah, I'll stream VR or VRC like maybe like one day a week, maybe. And now it's primarily what I stream. I'm almost only streaming VR chat now.
I know all about that
looking
life.
into moving all my gaming stuff over to like YouTube or something instead.
Yeah. So how did you get into VR chat initially? Like the first like seeing a video or a stream, like what was the first thing that you saw of VR chat? I was like, I want to play this. I want to stream it. What was the first initial thing?
Chips, Stealth RG.
Really?
Yes.
What was this?
So technically it was really 3 videos that did it. And it was Stealth RG, as well as Fulcona, I believe, and who are kind of both part of the same group, and then Grimsy.
Okay.
Stealth RG, I first saw his stuff when I was just kind of going through YouTube and everything like that, and then I saw a video of a person in VR like sings really well to like Creep. And I was like, cool, okay. I like clicked on it.
Yeah,
and,
the
like,
Creep guy.
listened to it, and I was like, holy shit, like that's pretty fucking good. Like, hey, that's pretty good. You know, just I was really impressed. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna look into more of his stuff. And I kept like going on to like things, and I kept looking it all up, like all of his stuff specifically about him singing. And then I was like, what the fuck is this game they keep playing? Like, what is this? Like they're actually walking around, they're actually moving around like this. And I was like, that's so crazy. How are they doing that? And so I looked more into it, and I ended up finding Grimsy and Fulcona. Obviously, Fulcona through Stealth RG because they're both part of the same group, and like Ascension and stuff.
Yeah. Ascension Academy, yeah.
And then I found Grimsy, who her video was wasn't through her perspective; it's through her friend's perspective. I don't remember. I think it was Brunswick.
Oh.
And,
okay, yeah. I know Brunswick.
And anyways, she was born with malformed vocal folds, I believe. I don't actually remember exactly the conditions, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, and she had ended up, she'd been mute for like a year and a bit throughout the whole, like the year and a bit for the time that she had been on VR chat.
Okay, yeah.
So like obviously she's been mute, like she had been mute for like her whole life effectively. And so she got this surgery, and it got everything kind of like mostly fixed to a point where she could start to talk in a low whisper.
Yeah.
And this video was her coming to her friend and revealing this and being like, hi, and like super low, quiet voice.
Okay.
And everyone was just like, oh my God, and like freaking out. And they were like, this is so cute. And like, I like learned more about the whole situation. I was like, holy shit, that's like so heart touching. Like I just, oh, it's so cute.
Yeah.
And I ended up following her on Twitch, and started really getting into VR chats because of her Stealth RG. And then I ended up finding Socks shortly afterwards. And Socks is really the main reason I even got interested in the platform in its entirety. Like where I was like, I want to get in here. Like it was before it was like, I'm okay with watching this. And then it was like, no, I need to get in here.
I gotcha, yeah. I've interviewed Socks. Twice?
Yes, I know. Actually, that's actually how I found out about you.
Oh, really? What did you find out about me, huh? I didn't do anything. I'm innocent. I'm a nice person. Trust me. I wouldn't lie. Yeah. I'm an open book.
Yeah. No, it was actually a really good interview. It was really cute and stuff. Like I'd like seen and heard your name thrown around before from like YouTube videos and stuff. But that was the first like real like sit down and broadcast I watched, and I loved it. I love the format. It's really interesting being on here, considering that when I was watching this not that long ago, being like, oh man, I'm never gonna get big enough to get on that show.
What do you mean? I,
Well, because I only started streaming in February.
damn. Next Twitch partner right here, guaranteed. It's true. Listen,
I did actually apply.
no, exactly. Listen, I'll tell you right now. If you get interviewed by me, you get partnered guaranteed. Literally 30 people this year got partnered after being interviewed by me, including myself. So obviously it's real.
God, see, I would honestly, that would be so cool. But unfortunately, sad news is that I did actually receive a letter back from Twitch about that, and we did get rejected this time.
You know what?
But
It took me
that's
2
not gonna
attempts.
stop us from going.
It took everybody everyone gets 2 attempts. Okay, it
Well,
takes
that's
2
just
attempts.
it.
Yeah.
And that's just it, exactly. Like I've noticed that with everybody's, and when I first applied for it too, because I was like, yeah, we just hit the metric for it, and like
Yeah.
they got the ability to do it. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna get it. I really don't. And I told the audience, like my viewership and stuff
Same.
like that. I was like, we're not gonna get this. It's not gonna happen. The first time, it never happens for anybody. Big Boy's like an exception. And yeah, and so of course I applied and did eventually hear back from them last week actually. So it's been a hell of a week.
No, I gotcha. I mean, it'll happen. Yeah. I applied when I hit the minimum too, and I got denied too. And all they told me in the email, just like keep it up, better, more consistency, because there's definitely times where it rise up and down. So I just went hard in the paint. I literally just grinded it, streaming and doing interviews, and then I applied again when I was averaging close to 200, and then they were like, "Yeah, here you go." And then that day, I got partnered. My brother bought me Wendy's and got me a nice Frosty. Amen, brother.
Nice. Hell yes.
Hell yeah, that's how you celebrate getting partner on Twitch.
Yeah. I mean, it's the funny thing is like getting Twitch partner was never even really a goal of mine when I started this. My main focus with all of this, with the channel, with stream and everything, was really just to help people relax, to help people in general.
That's
You
good.
know, it was yeah, well, and it was never like like I'm trying to get big famous or anything like that, or I'm like trying to make money off it. That wasn't it at all.
Yeah.
For me, and I definitely stand by this too, and I've said this hundreds of times, like, it doesn't matter if it's 5 people or 500. As long as someone's enjoying themselves, that's all I need.
Exactly.
And I've definitely kept that mentality for a while now. And it's hard to not feel at least a little bit disappointed, like when you apply for something like Twitch, because it is a goal. It is, you know, something you're trying to reach for. And if you do try to reach for it and you just miss, it's hard to not feel a little disappointed. But at the same time, when I really think about it, like, it's not a necessity for me. That's not why I started doing this. And first and foremost, it is about everybody else. Giving people a space to be themselves, to relax and just have fun and get away from the bullshit of the world for, you know, a couple of hours.
Exactly.
I think that's really, really crucial, especially in the entertainment business. Like, it's really all about helping others first and foremost.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. That's one of the reasons why I got into doing interviews, because I love talking to people and I want to hear their stories and experiences from VR chat. I've always believed in this. I've always said this in multiple interviews, but everybody experiences VR chat differently. You know, it's not like a traditional video game where, you know, there's either ending A or B. It's like, what ending did you get? Oh, I got A. Oh, I got B. You know, like, that's it. But like VR chat, there is no ending. You create your own story and your own experiences. So your experience is different from mine. You come from a different timeline. You started watching Chips. I actually started watching streamers. So obviously you got into VR chat completely different than I did. And I didn't even, like, I knew about Chips, but I never was really around him until much later. But like, that's just an example. Like, there's so many different things and experiences and why we do things, you know.
It's crazy. Like, in so many ways, this is not a game. And I know we call it that sometimes. I know a lot of people that watch it are like, yeah, like, it's a game. And it's like, yes and no. It was built and designed in the same way that most games are, but it's really not. It's a social platform more than anything else. Exactly. I'd say it's a next stage of a social platform. Like interconnectivity has always definitely been a thing where it's like, yeah, like, we've got like Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all that stuff like that. All those social platforms have been steadily growing from like just like text-based stuff to like photo-based stuff to video-based stuff to face-to-face stuff. I mean, we are face-to-face talking not even a meter apart, but we are literally thousands of meters apart.
Exactly.
That is a level of interconnectivity that really hasn't been fully fully come to the realization of how big of a deal that is. Like I'm a millennial, so I grew up in an age before the internet was actually really a thing in every household, and
What do
where
you
cordless
mean? I'm a
phones were not a thing
millennial.
either. Yeah, but okay. Hold on.
I'm like
I'm 1990 though.
I'm the youngest generation. I'm 95. I'm like 90, I'm barely considered
Oh, okay.
millennial. I'm barely. Just call me a zoomer at this point. I'm
Oh
25,
my
but
god,
I don't.
I was graduated by the time you were getting into high school.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know
I'm so old.
people even remember like fax machines and pagers. My dad had a pager, and I thought that was cool. I was like, oh snap.
Rebel, I had a pager.
Oh my! You actually had a pager. My
I
God.
actually had a pager.
What's the
I
numbers? Like
seriously
411
remember.
or something? Like emergency,
I don't
like get
remember.
home or some shit. Like I don't know.
I don't know. It was my dad's old one, and so whenever I was over at a friend's house, something like that, he'd be, rather than like trying to phone around to 6 different houses trying to find me, because no cell phones,
Yeah.
he would normally just call the pager, and that would be like, if I got anything on that pager, it means go the fuck home now. So, by the way, oh shit. Oh, I mean, heck, am I allowed to swear on here? By the way.
Listen, this is a mature rated stream. You can swear.
Okay.
So. This isn't like,
I
oh
swear a
please.
lot.
Okay, this is not like a real talk show where they're actually like, oh please don't say that word. I will get demonetized. It's like,
Okay, what about the state? Like, is the station head going to be okay with this though?
yeah, whatever. Fuck
I
'em.
mean. But yeah, like it's weird, kind of like going from remembering days when everything was taped, that CDs weren't even a thing. There was
Yeah.
no cell phones. It was all like, we're talking boomer level stuff here, and
VHS.
and yeah, exactly. And then now, where it is now, where I'm like, oh, I'm in VR. My hands are being basically completely tracked how they should be right now. I can kick and move my legs all around. This is insane. This is Star Trek holodeck shit. It's crazy to think about it sometimes. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old. I am turning 30 in like a week.
Literally a boomer now.
So, literally a boomer now. I mean, I have definitely said for a while now, like, I'm basically just a young boomer. Only I'm not, I'm actually progressively minded.
Okay.
Sorry,
okay.
I'm not trying to be.
All right.
That was really divisive. Oh god. Side note and fun note. I had a friend recently teach me how to sign in VR. Okay, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer.
Yeah, whatever you say, boomer. Whatever. Okay. Okay.
And that's something I've been really, really enjoying as lately as well, is the deaf community and the signing community here in VRC. When I found out about it, I was so excited, because I love learning ASL outside of VR, and it's something that I've wanted, like, I've been really getting into for some time now, because of my friends who are hard of hearing or losing their hearing, or in some instances, some of them who don't, were born with no hearing whatsoever.
Yeah.
And myself, I'm actually functionally hard of hearing on this side, and I'm slowly losing it on this side now. So learning ASL makes sense for me. But I've been getting a part of, like, trying to like get involved with Helping Hands, and getting to know more people from that community. And Noise has been amazing for teaching me stuff, and it's been very, very helpful to be a lot more accessible to a wider range of audience. And because of that accessibility, because I am a hearing person, that I make a habit of being like, nope, I have my closed captioning at the bottom of my stream all the time. And if the few times that it broke, I've had people come in who are like, hi, like, my friend who's also part of the deaf community and stuff like that, said that this place is a little bit more like friendly for that, and be like, oh, like, sorry, my CC is broken right now.
Oh. Damn.
But I can talk and sign for VR.
You know?
And it's honestly it's so helpful to know, and I cannot recommend it enough, really, to learn at least a little bit of it, especially for you if you have any friends who are a mute, or if you are like a selective mute at all. I think it's a really good idea to learn any of it here in VRC because of the fact that it makes communication so much faster. I mean, there are some people who have like the pen tool, like Socks does the pen tool a lot, so it makes
Yeah.
things a little bit more accessible that way. But I find the vast majority of mutes don't have that pen tool. And they usually just go off gestures and stuff alone. But that can sometimes make it really difficult to hold a lengthier conversation with someone because it's very one-sided.
Yes.
So I definitely, like, if you don't want your voice, if you're, like, if you're concerned about your voice, because I started off as a desktop mute
Mm-hmm.
when I first started this whole thing. And I was desktop mute for like 4 or 5 months, give or take. Yeah, about that long. And then of course I was desktop for 4 or 5 months. I was a mute for about 4 of those months, I think, because yeah, more towards the end I started getting a little bit more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like it's honestly it's huge into how much of a difference it can make, because I mean I know a lot of mutes do have troubles feeling like they can connect with people because they're both equally very nervous about having people hear their voice, but also want to actually have more interaction. Like they're it's great being around a bunch of people that they can be comfortable with, but they don't actually get to have that like lengthier conversations like we're doing right now. And with Sign, you can.
Yeah.
So it's very helpful.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's why I wanted to, because people, I'll give an example. So, like, I've interviewed mutes before. Obviously, I've done, like, I don't know how many, 20 interviews with different mutes in VR chat. And people, when I started doing these interviews, people thought I was crazy. Like, you can't interview a mute. What are you talking about? Don't even talk, dude. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take the challenge. Screw you, buddy. And then I took the challenge and I interviewed mutes. And now people probably know more about the mute than, watching 3 years, or whatever. Like, they get to sit down and I asked them very specific questions about, VR chat, about themselves. Are they comfortable with it? And they type in the chat and I read for them. I know it's, one sort of, but like, at least I tried, right? Like I'm doing something that nobody else has done before.
Mm-hmm. Well, and honestly, like, I remember when Socks announced that she was coming on the show with you and stuff like that, and I was like, I mean, awesome, but also, how?
That's what everyone says.
In my mind, I was like, is she just going to talk in the chat the whole time? Or, like, is she actually going to, like, be in a private Discord call with you and then talk to you that way? And then you just repeat what she had said? Or, like, if she was going to get, like, a proxy to, like, talk on her behalf? Like, I was like, how is she going to do this? So I was very much so, like, confused as to how it was going to go about it. But you guys managed to do it flawlessly. It looked great. It looked awesome. You guys were fantastic, like, the whole time.
Yeah, I figured it all out. I was planning. It takes a lot of effort, initiative. I don't know. People, there's too many stories of like people always criticizing me or my show. Be like, how do you do this? How do you do that? Or you can't interview that person. They don't even talk. Or like, for example, I want to take the challenge of actually taking a step further by interviewing someone who's deaf. Like I'll have to have someone who is a proxy because I don't know ASL, so I'd have to have somebody represent me or represent, like, be the communication between us, and also have through typing as well. So I would literally write up a script of like what am I going to say. I'll still say my stuff for obviously the people who are watching, but I'll have somebody there to repeat the exact same things that I'm saying to the person who's deaf. So
yeah, you need someone who can translate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Though quickly, not like me, because I'm I'm very slow when it comes to sign
That's
right
fine.
now.
I mean, we'll figure it out. And then I wanted to do a language barrier as well, because there's a while ago there's a bunch of people from the Japanese community, and I was very fortunate to actually get into a world of purely people from like Japan. A lot of them don't speak English at all, but like what they do in VRChat is like worlds apart of what we do. Like they have like schedules like at like 8 o'clock in the morning, they're all doing like workouts and stuff. And then like 2 hours later
Yes.
they do like they go to like a cafe and it's run by either all girls or all guys or something, and sometimes the girls are playing as guys and vice versa. And I was just like, what's
Yeah.
happening? What's going, and they have like this hub world of all these like pamphlets and stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, and then I had a translator with me who can speak English and Japanese, and he went
Yeah.
around and explained all it to me, and I was like I'm just like, what is happening? What is this? Like when I play VR chat, it's like, all right guys, let's go drink and go in the Void Club, like, and then they go to Japan world, it's like,
Here's the thing though, is like what you're doing here. This is, I mean, you literally have a full-on world that is specifically designed for your interviewing process. You
yes,
have a very specific design for your interviewer and like your attire that you wear for it. That is huge. That is taking a pretty large step into, you know, really translating more things into virtual reality and into this whole world. And I mean, Japan's always definitely been really, really big for that kind of media as well, because of the fact that, I mean, think of like Ghost in the Shell and stuff, or like how much sci-fi in North America has been based off of Japanese science fiction around stuff like virtual reality. I mean, everyone immediately when they saw VR chat and it started getting really popular and on the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that, we're like, oh my god, it's basically like fucking Sword Art.
yeah,
And like
in a way,
there's always some translation to, like, especially when it comes to like major tech steps like this, there's always some translation to something that's existed in Japanese media for a long time now. So it makes sense that they would adopt it immediately. Sorry, I can't snap right. um,
I could snap. There you go, did it, easy clap.
yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Put your controller down.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're insinuating. This is real life. I just did it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like it makes sense, and I think most people that I know that do anything in here, you know, it's usually more of just like the very much so like the personal social side of things. It's not. I mean, sure, we stream stuff, but it's more of just like a, hey, we're sitting down with a bunch of friends and we have a camera on, but you're making a show.
Yes.
It is very much so a show that you could air on TV, and it would be like it's directly translatable. And
Yeah.
I think in a lot of ways, like it makes sense that they would bring like their calisthenics and stuff, and like they're like, you know, doing like I assume what would be like almost like a maid cafe like you were talking about before. Where it's just like
Exactly.
a cafe run by like a bunch of girls or a bunch of guys and so on and so forth. Like it makes sense that we're slowly pulling more aspects of real life into virtual reality, because in a lot of ways this is a really interesting step for humanity. And it's funny because we're in a generation where it's like we're too young to like search the stars and explore that way, but we're too old to explore the earth unless you want to go do a bunch of like ocean stuff. But virtual reality is very much so just as much of a frontier as anything else.
Yeah, the world of VR is like limitless. Like truth be told, before I started doing this talk show, there's obviously some people that done like podcasts and stuff like that, but like never to like what the extent I'm doing, and I'm very surprised. It's like, why is nobody doing what I'm doing? Like, why is nobody like trying to push VR or VR chat to like the brink, like really push it to its limits? And like I'm expanding upon this show, as I said earlier before this interview, of like my avatar showcase and doing all these different things, and
Yeah.
I really want to push that like VR chat is not just about staying in front of the mirror and just be like, hey guys, you know, what's up? You know, you can do that if you want, but I want to like push it far beyond that. I think there's a lot more
Well,
potential.
in so many ways, like I mean, I definitely see like Lumi. He tends to do all of his like music production and his DJing and stuff like that whilst he's in world in VRC. So he always has some sort of live audience of folks hanging out and dancing, even if it's, you know, 5 or 6 or sometimes 10 or 12 or sometimes like 30. I've seen some of his parties get pretty crazy, but he's both in and out of virtual reality, because right now he has to be at his deck and stuff like that. We're doing everything that he normally does, but he is also in world. So he's taking something that people are already doing and just putting it into VR, and it's working. There's a lot of stuff like that. Like I mean, Sox's dancing and the music and stuff like that. Like that's definitely something that has been done in real life, but she was really the main person to really bring it in here and make it huge. Like I'm trying to think of anyone else who dances for, 4 hours straight to a particular music mix.
I can think of.
Who's as big.
Oh, well, before Socks was around, it would be Team Kinetic, and they would be some of the first full body dancers. They would dance in publics, and they were basically a whole team of individual. Be Forcible, Jakey, Venorak, all of them. They the only person that I know of that still streams VRChat would be Jakey, but at one point in time,
Yeah.
they were all like dancers, and they were all just like doing flips and shit and like doing this crazy stuff in full body, and people are just like, what in the hell?
Oh my
Because
God.
at the time, like, no one really, like, people had full body, but it wasn't like used to its full potential. People are like, oh, look, I can kick you, and you're like, wow, cool, I guess. But then, like, when they started like
Yeah.
dancing and like, oh, fucking whatever, full body stuff, people were just flipping shit, and I was just like, that was the big thing. And then that lasted for a while, but it died down after a bit because then, when everybody starts doing it, you don't seem as special, right? Like when you see like 100 people doing the exact same thing. But for the start, yeah, and then obviously Socks and other dancers. There's other dancers that are starting now. Like I don't remember all their names, but there's people that like follow in the
Yes.
footsteps of
Yeah, yeah.
others.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's like always going to be a thing, is that like if somebody's doing something and they're doing it really well and they're, being really successful at it, there will be others who are like, who see the format and go, you know what? I'm going to give that a shot, but like put my own little spin on it. And that's honestly with any sort of major media like this. I mean, hell, even with talk shows. IRL, there's, the first person to start a talk show probably was like, ha ha, and then all these different ones shows up, and then now we've got talk shows galore.
Yeah.
But this is the first one in VR.
That's actually not true, but I'm just going to say yes.
Okay.
To increase my ego.
So this is the first one that I've ever known of, and I've literally never, in the time that I've been in VRC, I've never heard of any other. But it should be noted that I'm still very new to virtual.
Yeah,
you're not only virtual reality, but VR chat in general.
You're one of those
so
new
so
frogs.
Many times.
I'm an old man according to VRChat standards.
But like in so many ways, there is so many things that I'm completely unaware of. Like the first time I met Lolathon, I had no idea who the fuck he was.
Me too.
I was like, cool. This guy's got like random avatars and he's pretty funny. And then like I was like, yeah, he seems pretty nice. Like he seems pretty chill. And then he like spooked me in autumn, and I was like, oh shit. And then I kind of like found out around the same time. I was like, oh hey, apparently he's a big deal.
Oh, I knew him when he had like 2 viewers.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that the other day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh my, a new sub.
It's
Does this mean you
crazy
come
to
to
think
play
about,
with me?
some people that have just, like you're like, oh hey, like I used to know you when you were like this size or something like that, and then all of a sudden you're looking at them now and you're like, holy shit, yeah, you're like way different now.
Yeah, I should know. I have been there from the beginning, so I've seen everybody who had like 1 viewer. I was like, hey guys, we're all small together. Let's hang out. And then they blow up, and I'm still like, where the fuck? What happened to me?
Yeah.
So
It's interesting because like I'm a big, obviously like I can't go 5 seconds into talking about me getting involved with VRC and streaming in particular without obviously bringing up Socks, because she has been such a big introduction and influence to all of this for me. And I will always shout her out, and I will always be like, no, like you don't understand, you guys need to get over there, you need to go hang out with her for a stream and like follow her or whatever. Like I'm always shouting her out as much as I can because of how much she's done for me. And I think it's an interesting effect that I've noticed even just over the past couple of months, that like especially when it comes to streaming, when I found Socks, she was still in the like 50 to 60 person average when I first met her.
Yeah.
And obviously where she's at now, where she gets like, I think she'll peak out some days at like 8 to 900. Like it's pretty crazy some days.
Thanks, darling, for using your
Damn.
Twitch sub on little me.
Yeah, like I remember like, even it was with it was like no, not there wasn't any like major giant raid that got dropped in her lap, and I think she managed to peak out at 800 for one of the streams that I was moderating for.
Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, and I was like, holy shit, like he really blew the fuck up. But obviously she inspired me to really get involved with all this, and as well as from other sources as well, like Honey Baby and Anna Cabana and a bunch of other folks that I very much so looked up to. And they really got me interested in dealing with all this. Like I always had a curiosity, and I always wanted to get involved with it, and I was thinking about doing streaming for a while beforehand, but I really got into the idea. Like I was focused on making it happen, and I started hyper focusing on it at a crazy chaotic period of my life when COVID was obviously just hitting, and I didn't have a job, and unfortunately I couldn't continue my courses and stuff like that because of COVID. So it was just this whole big thing, and like obviously mental health stuff was going on at the time too. And so I needed something to focus on. I needed something to just dive into completely. And for me, that was streaming. It was dealing with like Streamlabs and stuff, and like setting up my own channel. And I was like, even if I'm just streaming to myself for months on end, that's fine with me. I'm just gonna go for it and just do it in my free time. Obviously, that wasn't an issue because I've never dipped below 15 since I started, which has been wonderful, and I'm oddly blessed that way.
Damn. What the heck?
Yeah. Oh no, it's been crazy. I reached affiliate in 5 days.
My God.
It has been a wild ride from start to finish. Like I hit the ground running as much as I could, and I made my entire layout as customized as possible. I grabbed all the notifications and stuff like that for like hosts and streams.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
hosts and everything like that. I made them all customized. I didn't want the regular standard stuff that Streamlabs provides you. I was like, nope, I'm gonna make my own shit. I'm gonna make it look as custom as possible. That way when people come into stream, they're gonna be like, oh hey, like this is a bit different. And I wanted to try and do something a bit different. That was really the whole long and short of it. So when I started off with my first avatar, I did it before I even started streaming. I was like, nope, I was still a desktop. I was still mostly a mute. I didn't really talk much. And I was like, bam, I'm going to get this customized avatar. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put up the money for it. And then I'm going to get someone else who has full body to take a bunch of photos in it. And that way I can just like put it all over for whatever I need for my backdrops and for everything else. Like I just went 100% involved with it before I even hit the first go button.
Damn.
Yeah.
You're all planning. I wasn't like that. I just started streaming, and I was a desktop, and I was a hillbilly. I was like, "What's up, bro?" Like that was me for like forever, and then it just I don't even know. I was just like lost in a loop for like 2 years. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I would do random things like, oh, this didn't work out. It was like a losing streak. I almost like I did like 6 different things, and everything just kept failing. And then eventually, when I started doing it, I was like, I listened to Shia LaBeouf, Just Do It, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be me. This is gonna be me. I'm gonna interview people. I'm gonna do something no one else really ever does. And here I am. It worked out in the end.
Oh, and honestly, like I don't think I've done anything particularly different. I do the same thing that most other people do as well. Like I can easily list off on both hands a bunch of names right now that are doing exactly the same thing I'm doing. I think I just had a bit of the luck of the draw in the sense that I had like before even starting, I had made it look rather professional to like the way that other folks had already been doing it. And I had established in already a couple of communities like that I would hang around with and I'd talk with, and I'd express like, hey, I'm kind of thinking about getting into streaming and stuff, and I'd mentioned it to quite a few folks, and it eventually just got to a point where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna hit the go button. And because of that networking, that connectivity, it was pretty quick for other people to join in with me immediately afterwards. And I think that really helps. I think that's really cannot be understated, is networking, and not networking in a way that's like it's cold networking where you're just like, hi, like I'm a business professional, you're a business professional in this game, and we're going to do this thing. Like we actually establish a rapport, we get a friendship going, we actually like become friends. And it is really about genuine human connection. And I think that's what most people are really looking for when they come into stream just to watch, even, is genuine human connection.
Yeah. You can always sense it when it's forced. It's always just like, hello, fellow streamer. Let's hang out and
Yeah.
play this game together. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That sure was a good idea. We both got some good views and subs. We should do that again, partner. Yeah. These forced reactions are pretty good.
And that's really what it boils down to is like people. I think too many times like folks will be like they'll try and do something and like, even if it's just them on their own and you can tell that their mood is not in the mindset of wanting to stream. It's like if your mood is not in the mindset of wanting to stream, don't stream.
There is like I've been guilty of it saying more than a few times of just being like, hey, I just like keep going it, just keep doing it, just keep doing it. But that's really not the right answer in the slightest. It's really do it as often as you can without burning yourself out and while still enjoying yourself. Is a big part of it. Is, you know, like, because if you bring people are a lot more intuitive and a lot smarter than everyone, like, you know, like a lot of folks give them credit for. So when you come into stream and start that camera and you're, you know, actually you're not into it and you're feeling like crap or you're just feeling super antisocial or whatever's going on and you're trying to act as genuine as possible, people can feel that fakeness. Like, you know, they can feel that, not fakeness, but like that mask that you're putting on, that hey, like I'm trying my best to play this part that you guys want me to play, but it's that's not what people are looking for. People are looking for something genuine, and that has been something that I think a lot of folks have said to me in my streams. Stuff like that is they're just like, you know, you feel very genuine when we, you know, when you're on camera or when you talk to me, which I take as a huge compliment. Like, that's awesome, thank you. But I think that's what a lot of people maybe aren't quite like. I know some people that are very frustrated with it because they're trying their hardest, they're doing everything. They're like, I'm doing it, I'm putting in the time, I'm putting in the work, I'm making everything custom, I am doing everything that I should be doing right. Why is it not going right? And it's like, it's about coming, you know, about A, being genuine, and B, making sure that people understand you're being genuine. Like,
Yeah.
it's easy some ways, especially if you don't have a lot of inflection, if you're one of those people that tends to be a little bit more like stable for your emotions, so you don't have like for me, I can go from like very like calm, relaxed, like down here, I'm like, hey, I'm like, you know, like everything's cool, everything's fine, and then all of a sudden it'll be really like explosive and stuff. The range in emotion is really part of that genuine side of things.
I'm always
If people are
calm.
unaware, I actually did some behavioral psychology, which is why I have a
Oh,
lot of this in
okay.
mind.
I'm always
And I'm
chilling.
analyzing shit like that.
I'm always just like, hey,
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Hey, thanks. I'm always level-headed. I'm always just chilling.
You are legitimately one of the most chill people I've ever met, to a point where I actually was like, I wonder if I'm actually like, if they actually like talking with me.
I was like, I don't know.
That's just
am
how I
being, like,
talk.
awkward?
People say that all the time. They're always just like, why do you sound like you're half dead? And I'm just like, that's just the way I talk, man. What the heck? I'm just chilling, you know? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, start going like, yo, hey, thanks for the sub. Kind of crazy. Like,
Yeah, exactly. There you go. They're perfect. That's what you need to be doing now.
hey, NiteByte,
something
how'd you get into VR chat? Oh my god, that's so amazing. Oh my god. I'm like, jeez.
Yeah. But no, it really is a part. You know, digressing a little bit back again, is it is about being genuine. It is really about making that genuine connection with people. And if you're not getting that connection with someone, there's no shame in that. Like, it doesn't mean the other person's a bad person or anything like that. It's just means that maybe your personalities don't necessarily mesh. Like, I've definitely met some people where I'm like, I would love to get to know you and you seem really cool and I'd like to watch your streams, but then we actually like sit and talk and I'm like, I have nothing in common with you. And I'm like, I don't know, like, I'm not gonna try and force a friendship. It sounds really cold. And I will totally still try and engage with them all the time and be as like civil as possible and still trying to get a friendship going, but I'm not gonna like force it to a point where it's like I'm going to act artificial. You know, I'm going to be very, very genuine in the bed. Be like, hey, like, you know, like if I like to be around someone else because I click with them more, I'm gonna spend more time with them subconsciously or consciously. You know, people tend to move towards things they enjoy.
Yeah, honestly, is a good
You know,
policy.
Unless you're slightly
you know?
masochistic, then you go towards things you don't.
What? Yeah, some people do that.
Not really.
Some people are like torturing themselves and playing video games, but for me, I try to be honest as I can with people. Like when I interview people and stuff like that, I try to do the best I can and try to bring on interesting people and like-minded people. I'm also trying to try to get on people that are very different from myself because you know, you have to go out of your comfort zone at some point in times. You know, like I've definitely streamed with some people that are like super, what do you call it, like super high energy, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, that was pretty spooky, and they're just like, oh my god, that was so spooky, and I'm just like, yeah, sure,
Oh my god. So it's so funny because like I have a lot of high energy friends, and I've tried to mention this and talk with some folks about this before. Is like I have obviously like a lot of high energy friends and a lot of like low and mid energy friends as well, and I'm naturally a very like low mid. I very rarely dip into the high like energy range of things unless I'm like in like a party mindset, like Tuesday meetups and stuff. I'm always like, yeah, like let's fucking go.
drink, let's go.
Yeah. Let's fucking go. Let's do this.
But yeah,
It's interesting because I tend to find like especially if I'm in a low energy mindset, if I've got someone who's like super like pumped and high energy, I'm always like, dude, like chill. You need to take it down about 20% there, chief. Like it's
I know that
yeah,
feeling.
it's hard to translate though, and it's hard like to not like come across as being like super like bitchy, I guess. But it's in the same way that like I'll have high energy people be like, oh my god, you're bringing everything down, you're bringing the energy like such a like low level when we should be getting like pumped and stuff. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just like super chill right now. Like I just want to like kick back and like hang out. But then there are other days where I'm just like, you know, like today, like I'm weirdly high energy and like high mid energy right now. Mostly because I'm actually fucking nervous because weirdly enough, being on this show is a little bit like, oh my gosh, I'm on like
the That One Rebel show.
Yeah, I'm just chilling. Just another day for me, you know.
yeah, it's your Monday.
Yeah, it's my Monday. What's up? Just working here, you know.
Just sitting in the seat, just
Yeah.
like
I mean, for
my
me,
best.
practice makes perfect. I mean, I've been doing this for almost over a year now. So, like, when I first started, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just like, what do I ask people? Like, I don't even know. I was just bullshitting like
Yeah,
half the
oh, yeah.
time. And then as time went on, it's like, all right, I need to stick to like words. And because, like, I'll give an example. Like, people don't realize this, but a lot of talk show hosts, like, they have like key cards and like they have like stuff that like helps
yeah.
them out. Like, people don't realize that they're not like, maybe after like 20 years or something, or after a certain amount of time they get good at it, but like a lot of them will just be like, all right, what do I say again? Oh yeah, you're making a movie, right? Yeah, talk about your movie for
Yeah.
whatever, you know. Like they definitely have like cards and cues and things like that, and I started like typing up stuff, you know. I did some research,
Ooh. Wait, did you do research on me?
possibly. I can't reveal my sources. That's metagaming.
I mean, I am incredibly narcissistic, so I want to know now.
Oh yeah.
Not actually.
Okay.
I like do not think high of myself.
And actually,
On that note, it's funny because I've definitely noticed a weird change, and I believe we talked about this actually just the other day about how like I've been doing my best to go into other people's streams, like smaller streams and stuff like that, and just to like hang out and be like, hey, like I'm gonna see like what they're up to and
Yeah.
like hang out,
vibe.
get a part of the community, try and make some genuine connections and stuff. And then I'll peek in being like, no, there's no way no one knows me in here. Like I'm no fucking way. And I'll like do my little peeky mode and stuff. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh shit, it's NiteByte. And I'm like, how? How the fuck do you know who I am? I'm like literally nobody. But I'm starting to get this realization like, oh, I'm actually like a slightly more common name than I expect. And I don't feel that way. That's the weird part about it is like, for me, it wasn't that long ago I started this. For me, it was like, yeah, I know it's been almost a year, but in my mind, I'm like, no, it's been like a couple of months. So I don't feel like I'm a bigger name now. I feel like I'm still like, you know, in like the 10 people average or 15
Yeah.
people average range where I'm like, yeah, like, you know, I'm just like a regular everyday person who puts on the camera and has a good time and leads off and stuff like that. But it's weird because there are other people, and this relates back to the conversation before about like getting inspired by socks to start streaming. It turns out there are other people who have gotten inspired to start streaming because of me. And I've had them tell me this before, and it's really strange because I'm like, what?
Yeah.
how did I inspire anybody?
I-
Like I'm just some dork on the internet talking to a camera, and that's it.
I feel that. Like, I've had people say, like, dude, your show is awesome. Like, I don't actually want to do my own show. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, some people want to do their own stuff, or they ask me for advice, or before I got partnered, because obviously just giant check mark. So before that, I would go into some people's chats and then listen. It's accomplishment.
No, 100% do it.
Listen, sometimes when I go to people's chats, they get a little excited when they see that check mark. They're like, holy shit, is that a partner streamer in my chat? And I'm like, damn right it is. That's right. I worked my ass off. And they're like, oh shit. Or they're like, wait a second, I know you. You're that guy that interviews people. Do you want to interview me? And I said, hold on, let me turn on my... Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe you're the one. And they're like, whoa. And they're like, hey, it could happen, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Some people get excited. I think I like rating smaller streamers on purpose, like when people have like 5 viewers, because they get like super excited. It's almost like they won the lottery or something. They're like, holy shit, 50 people. Woo! Like they're just sort of like screaming. I mean, it's very sad, but I rated someone once and they actually cried. I felt bad.
I had that happen too, and I was like, they didn't like do like a full-on sob, but they were definitely in tears. They're like, "Holy shit, this is so huge!" And I'm just like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry."
Yeah,
that was not my intention.
I got someone affiliate because they
Nice.
had like 2 viewers and they pushed them. They're like, "Oh my god, I can apply for affiliate. Thank you so much." So it happens.
I think I've done that. Oh my god, who was that? Oh. I feel so bad.
I have like the worst memory too. That's what the worst part of all this is too. Where also I have like people come up and they're like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Hi." Checking like username. Yes. Fuck, where am I from? And I have like the worst memory for this stuff, especially for names. Like, if you have like a more consistent look, like a very consistent avatar, like either the face or the hair or whatever, or like general aspects, I'm much better with that. But because with VR chat and stuff like that, everyone's changing avatars all the time, I'm like, this is the worst for my memory. I will not remember.
What do you mean? I'm a fellow redhead. Makes sense. It's easy.
Yeah, we're kind of a little bit on the more rare side of things, so
Like it's definitely easier to be.
You're
like,
basically me in real life, to be honest. If anyone ever questions what I look like, I'll just say I'm this NiteByte. Just look her up on Twitter.
So I still want to actually do that I want to put together a cosplay of you, but
I should have done it before
I cut my hair though, because my hair is like literally about this length now, so I can't do like the bun
tie up like you can.
But I do get some of the wispies on the side, so I can still kind of do like the side part and everything.
Just let it grow out. I'll see you in a couple months.
Yeah.
Rain check.
I'll have to re-dye it red when it's longer, because by the time it grows out, it goes to my more natural roots and it goes like black to pink, because it'll fade by then. Because I had it before like that, so I'll just have to re-dye it before I get it cut, and then I'll just like tie it up and like put on like my best like suit jacket, because I have a really nice suit jacket.
That's so nice of you. I'm a giver too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Melarain gifted a tier 1 sub to hidden_fox VR. This is their
Pardon?
first gift sub.
Sorry, I have an alert going on.
Oh, it's all good. I was like, is that cashmere?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, 100% cashmere. It's what other I don't know I don't know brands. I don't know anything about fashion. It's just Calvin Klein. I don't know, Gucci Gang, Supreme.
Gucci Gang. Oh my God.
What else is popular these days? I don't know.
The real question is, what are the
That's
shoes?
so nice of you. I'm a giver
red soles
too.
underneath? Are they Louis Vuitton?
Flying Banana Buffalo
Sure.
gifted
Yeah,
a tier
absolutely.
1
Louis
sub to
Vuitton,
Melarain.
literally gold-plated,
They have given
diamond-plated,
32 gift subs in the
literally
channel.
everything. So.
See, I don't know if I'll be able to
afford those for the cosplay, so I'll have to just cheese it.
put some velvet on the bottom.
That's okay.
I gotta make these cuts.
Yeah.
I definitely
I think
grab a screenshot for
yeah.
your makeup though.
Oh yeah. Get the eyes, get the eyebrows on fleek, get everything, Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Wait, we could take this a step further. You could stream as me in cosplay.
Oh my
You sure
God.
like spreading your
Yes.
load everywhere. Thanks,
I
darling.
wonder if I could actually try and set up like an interview as like IRL, like cosplay you.
Yeah.
Interview someone else.
Yo, Sprickster, thanks so much for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate that. Sorry. Thank you, Flying Banana and Melon Rain for giving that sub to Hidden Fox. Sorry, when I'm interviewing, I can't think subs.
But honestly,
yeah, of course.
I'm honestly weirdly into this idea now.
Really? I mean, you can go as far as you want, you know? If you want to go full photo shoot, full everything, and then just be like, whatever. It's whatever. I can give it whatever. Do whatever you want, you know? I'm fully comfortable. I love fan art. I love cosplayers. You know,
I will definitely take a photo, but a full-on photo shoot, I am not pretty enough for that.
It's up to you.
Okay, good. Sorry, my partner is up north right now, so any messages I get, I have to quickly check on my wrist.
Okay.
Because I have a smartwatch.
Oh,
so
heck
that does beep
yeah.
off. I apologize ahead of time.
But I like this. That situation's obviously rather intense with my father-in-law and stuff. So just have to make sure all the time. But yeah.
Absolutely. So to bring it back here, what got you into like avatar creation? Like, well, explain like your OC to like people who don't know. Like, why are you a demon? Why you have a robo arm? What happened? Like, what's going on? What's with the necklace? What's the whole story?
Okay. You know what's funny? It's actually going to be really boring.
So I'm here. I'm a lore. So I'm here. I'm strapped in. I got my sippy cup.
All right.
Listen, I got my popcorn. I'm ready.
Okay. So long and short of it is the original
design that I had put together was really just supposed to be me. It was actually I even have my first avatar if you want me to showcase it. Like as in just like have it out.
Okay.
Here.
All right.
Oh, I'm ready. Chat, are you ready for this?
Oh, jeez.
Can we get some pogs in the chat? Can we get some? Oh boy, I'm pogging right now. I'm IRL pogging. Oh my god.
So this is my original. This is the avatar that we created ages ago. The legs are like crazy stupid long. They're like stilts. I'm just gonna have them sit normally. And yeah, like the whole idea behind this was like to just look like me at the time, which was I tended to wear a lot of tank tops. I actually have tattoos all over this arm. I don't have a chest tattoo. It just kind of came with the texture and stuff. I'd like to get it removed eventually. Oh, right, the emotes are different in this.
The shirt is very much so my style with like the silly like graffiti Illuminati. I always wear like plaid around my waist and stuff, and like I definitely always wear like black jeans.
I have these glasses. I've got freckles. I usually have red hair. The necklace is a bird skull necklace. All right, can't cross legs because this avatar is wonky. Yeah,
it's a whole thing.
There's a lot of you.
The bird skull necklace is actually
because I have it IRL as well. A lot of everything that is based off this character, aside from the horns, is that it's just me IRL. And the necklace I got from my partner, I want to say like 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, for Christmas.
Yo, thanks for the rate.
And it was a porcelain style of a crow's skull. And I love that stuff. I'm super big into the witchy stuff. That's like 100% my aesthetic.
Don't cast a spell on me.
I promise nothing.
Okay. Listen, if I become hexed and I start speaking in tongues and backwards and I become a hot anime girl, I know who did it. I know who did it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But yeah, so the idea behind it was really just, and even just down to the nail polish, like I always have black nail polish and then one of them is always red. Just because of I used to mess around with magic and stuff. Like card tricks and everything like that, and I watched a lot of Penn and Gillette. So he always has the red ring fingers, I think. And I was like, I want pickies.
Wasn't it Penn and Teller?
Weird random stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, yes, yeah, Penn and Teller.
I was like, what? Who? I was like, Penn and who now? It's Penn and Teller, I'm pretty sure.
Penn Gillette is his full name.
Oh. I got schooled.
Teller's the mute.
Penn Gillette.
All right, I gotta go. I'm sorry. I gotta go. I got schooled.
Anyways, so I'm the whole idea behind this was just to see me. But something I've always really enjoyed is, honestly, demon lore and things about like it's okay. So, bit of context.
I was raised
She's a
Roman,
demon.
Irish Roman Catholic.
That's so
I'm a
nice
demon,
of
is what it
you.
is.
Well, you're the demon in
So
Phasmophobia.
Gaming gifted a tier 1
I knew it.
Choco
Oh yeah, I
This
killed
is their
Noble the other
first
day
gift
when we were
sub in
playing
the
on stream.
channel.
Actually, last week.
Holy shit! You killed all my friends and sucked their souls dry. And I watched the whole thing. And it was kind of hot, to be honest, but you know, whatever. Does anyone else want to get sucked
It's not as
dry?
effective in this one.
Yeah, true.
This one feels like a little bit too like, I don't know, younger, I guess. Sorry, my cord's being silly.
Yeah. As we all know, when you start
But-
playing VR chat, you start developing and getting larger and better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we get better at
There we
making
go.
models.
Oh god, that's
That's so much more comfortable.
Yo, thanks for gifting that sub. I appreciate it for the falls.
Wait, there we go. Get the horns back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the whole idea behind the original version was really just to take me in real life and go, there you go. Because I noticed that most people tend to jump into avatars that don't look anything like them, for whatever reasons they may have.
Yeah.
and that was fine. Like I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Like
I
whatever.
wonder who does that.
Imagine who does that.
Who is that? No way. I look like this in real life. What do you mean?
I do it too. But the original intention was to just do what I always do. My whole thing is just be me, just be myself in every way possible. And it took me a long ass time to get to a point where I was actually comfortable and enjoyed how I like look and who I am. So I was like, why would I bother jumping into a game to change that again when I could just be me? So I decided to just be me. The only thing I would actually add is I would love to have some horns IRL. That'd be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, screw it.
Throw some horns on that bitch. And I slowly but surely was like, you know what? I've kind of got like that sly and, a little bit more sultry tone to me sometimes. So I was like, you know what? Who's got that kind of like tone and mentality and that kind of vibe about them? Well, in the demon lore, that would tend to be contract makers. That would be the people that you sell your soul to get really good at the blues, something like that. And I've always been a big fan of jazz blues as a musician. By the way, for those of you who don't know, I play guitar and I play drums, learning drums, I should say, learning piano, and I'm actually trying to learn how to sing as well. I don't sing well. But I've always, since I was like 12, I played guitar, and I typically learned a lot of old school kind of like 60s, 70s music, but I also learned a large base of blues, jazz, and a lot of the old school classic kind of way of playing. So for me, I had a pretty strong connection already with the genre of music.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest, obviously, lores of that genre of music is the Crossroads Demon. And that's what I am. I'm a Crossroads Demon. And I'm also a big fan of Supernatural, and they have Crossroads Demon there too, so, and I've always been a fan of, like, demonology and like, angels and a lot of that whole lore of things. And that comes from being raised Irish Roman Catholic. I'm atheist now. But yeah, like, I just...
Mm-hmm.
It was something that I was always very like, you know what, like, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. I'm already got the horns. I'm gonna be a demon. I'm gonna be a Crossroads Demon specifically, but I originally started off as being an ex-Crossroads Demon. I was like, I don't take contracts anymore. I don't own anybody's souls. I used to work for hell, and then I refused to collect on a particular contract, and now I'm stuck up here.
I'll tell you my
Until they
religion.
find me.
My religion is thick thighs, save lies, thigh highs, remind demise.
The Bible. I'll praise the gap.
Of course. I mean, can we get some Rider tees in the chat? Get some Rider thick in the chat. Come on, like.
Yeah.
I did.
So fast.
Yeah, I got 3,000 squats. What did I do them for?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna cosplay your character?
That's what I hire cosplayers for. 10,000 subs. Any oil princes out there?
We're gonna get this.
I want to see Rebel IRL in Rebel.
I'll have you'll see me get one of those female bodysuits on and just like.
Yes.
Like Zack Scuderi, Sneaky C9 or whatever. Or he's not part of C9 anymore, so just Sneaky.
Yes. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. Yeah.
You know who Sneaky is, right?
Yes, I know who Sneaky is. Yes,
Okay.
I know that he
Okay, good.
cosplays as those sexy girls and all the boys lose, and secretly they don't know the truth. But listen.
He's like
I've
fucking
seen
hot, though.
I've seen people take that to the next level. I've seen people buy like actual full body like female suit. Like I've seen like a skinny guy like go into a full female suit and like everything. And then I saw this guy have a face mask and he like took it off, and I was just like,
Oh God.
I was like, what is happening? My life is fake. It's not even real anymore. I was just like,
Oh God,
I was.
No, there's face ones. Oh,
Yeah.
that would
I
scare the shit
saw
out of me.
that.
That would be like Buffalo Bill, like put the lotion, lotion in the basket.
Yeah. There's this guy. It looked like a 10 out of 10 supermodel. I was like, holy, hey, I'm into this. And then like, he starts pulling on his cheek, and it goes like out to here, and I'm like, and he starts like peeling back this. I was just like, yo, I gotta go.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Yeah, it was pretty
Oh
intense.
shit, that's hilarious. Oh my god.
That's technology, though.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I mean, like, the further we go in, the more and more things are gonna start feeling like. I mean, hell, even just look at virtual reality, like I was saying before. Like, the more
All right,
we get involved,
I'm
with
announcing
it,
my
the
new
harder
Twitch
it is to figure
channel.
out what's
I'm
genuine.
starting all that stuff. I won't talk, but I'll just be like a hot anime girl, literally look like this from real life, and then I'll just never talk. I'll have to voice train for a while, and then eventually I'll do a voice reveal. I'll milk it. I'll farm it, and everybody. I'll sell some photos. Yeah,
If I can get to this point, you can definitely get to that point.
exactly. I'll see you in 6 months.
It's hell, dude. It doesn't even have to be 6 months. I mean, you could probably get it done pretty.
All right, I'll see you
easily,
tomorrow.
so- Perfect. There you go.
All right. We've been going for about an hour, so I'd like to take some questions from the chat.
Oh, nice.
So, anybody in the chat want to have some questions for NiteByte and I'll ask them away. And if you have any questions for me, NiteByte, roll reversal, Uno reverse. You have some questions for me. You can also
I wish
ask
I had
them.
that card now.
Yeah, I wish I just pull it out. Yeah. But yeah. What if you became your what do you mean? Like, I've actually asked this question to various people in VR chat where like, what if I like went to bed and I woke up as like looking like this? Well, I guess I'll just I'll just become an IRL streamer. I'm just like, hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah, just start IRL streaming. Do it.
What if I still sounded like this, but I look like this?
I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that'd be pretty fucking hot, to be honest.
Okay.
It's just me.
What are NiteByte socials? Yeah, what's your Twitter? What's your socials? I'm just kidding. What's your Twitch and stuff? People are asking.
Oh,
your Twitter.
So my Twitch is NiteByte VR. You can usually on the first NiteByte you'll find red hair and everything like that. It's pretty quick to find me. And then Twitter is NiteByte VR as well. Instagram is NiteBytes. So I'm slowly trying to acquire just NiteByte, but in so many sites it's already been taken. So I'm either NiteByte or NiteByte VR.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really it. I don't actually have an active YouTube at all. It does exist, but the link is like an old one from like 2008. So it would not. I couldn't even be like, here's what the link is, because I don't remember. But if you go onto YouTube and just look up NiteByte, I'm the first one you'll find.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
easy.
Basically anywhere. It's a unique enough of a name where I'm either the first or the second result. There is one
person currently on Twitch who has NiteBytes with an S at the end, and they're a drummer, and they don't stream very often, and I'm just like,
What the heck?
because for some reason Twitch won't allow me to have NiteByte, even though no one's actively using it. And I thought maybe it was conflicting with his for a while, because I'm pretty sure he had it as NiteByte for a while, and then it's NiteBytes with an S now.
I can't even have the name Rebel. What the heck? No one even owns it.
Yeah.
Not even as a Twitch partner.
Twitch
What
thing?
I've heard Twitch staff rumors that the person who has the name Rebel, just REBL, apparently was a bad boy. Literally quite the rebel. But the thing is, when I look up anything about Rebel, there's no information. So whoever was a one viewer person that said the bad word, probably. They're just like, whoa.
And that's the funny thing is like I've looked up everything about twitch.tv/NiteBytes and nothing shows up. There is zero information about it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the weird part. Like, I thought it was the drummer guy for a while there, and
I think he might have had it for a bit, but I don't remember.
But his is definitely NiteBytes with an S.
Mm-hmm.
But I've tried to apply, like, to grab it a couple of times, and it's always like, nope, it's someone who has this. I'm like, nobody has this. Let me have my name.
NiteByte, when will you do a demon calendar sometime?
What, like a
Ooh la la calendar? Like,
I don't know. That's up to you to decide.
I mean, I didn't even know that was a want. I mean, I'll totally do it.
I'll buy it for a high
I'm
price.
cool with that.
Yeah.
I mean, are we talking like? Are we gonna do like
This one's gonna be like the summer
God.
one and stuff.
Like
Ooh.
I'll be like, oh hello,
Man.
like
I'm suddenly very interested.
Just like taking the glasses off.
and be like, oh my,
You want to work for
or
me
whatever.
as my secretary?
I mean, secretary.
Demon contractor. Suck everyone's souls after interview
I
them.
am no one's secretary.
Oh, okay.
I will be your accountant.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
And by
send you.
Accountant, I mean, I will collect souls.
Okay. Yeah, you can.
I'm glad we have this hashed out.
Yeah, you can suck them off every time we interview someone. Suck their souls.
Yeah, sure. That's what you meant.
What? You have to suck. What? I don't understand. It's literally you sucking them. Literally, sucking
totally.
their souls. I don't. What's so funny?
Nothing. No. I have no what you're talking about. I'm very wholesome.
Same.
As Jeff Danko would say.
I don't know what you're insinuating.
yeah.
Of course.
Geez, where's my water? Yeah. Okay,
Anyway, do you know who Seer is?
Seer.
CYR.
Seer.
I don't know why someone asked. Unless they're asking me.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm also really bad with names, so
If we have met or talked at some point, I feel I'm sorry. I am like literally the worst with names.
Well, if the question's
so
directed
personal.
to me, yeah, I know who that is. I literally interviewed him, so. Like, the problem is people play the pronoun games. You know, they say, does this person know, like, is that for me? Is that for NiteByte? Like, how am I supposed to know?
Oh, that's fair.
Wholesome, yeah, of course. I'm wholesome too. What do you mean?
Sure, wholesome.
Yeah, I'm full of holes.
oh hey, it's Peanut. Sorry,
I actually have your chat in my hand, by the way. I had it turned off the whole time.
When is NiteByte gonna
No,
make
we're
a
actually, like,
calendar
taking
with me?
I know.
and hopefully very soon.
What's the relationship there? What's the
Oh, Revel, darling. I think everyone in chat already knows what the relationship would be.
Can you explain that? I need to know, cause I'm uncultured. What's that for? Is that for riding horses? What's going on?
Yeah. It's for riding horses. Yeah, we would go to an equestrian world and take some photos near horses because
Near horses.
Who doesn't love horses? Yeah.
Right. Horses. Yeah, you like to ride things. I understand.
Yeah.
exactly.
Cowgirl. Reverse. Sometimes. I dream about cheese. Anyway, two demons, one crossroads, and a succubus cross paths.
Oh my God, Nev.
Yeah, I sure love horses. Me too.
I
Gather
am
the
not a
redheads.
horse girl. I never got into the horse thing. Like, I grew up at
I actually grew up in the country and stuff like that, like
small town Canada.
like
Kekona.
less than like 2,000 people.
Mhm.
And I grew up around a lot of farms, including the Garrett farm, which I used to go around to all the time. And
Yeah.
Horses were always around my life and things like that. I'm actually kind of terrified of them. They're really like giant. They're big ass fucking creatures, and they are actually like easily spooked. And when they get spooked, they can get very kicky or like body check you. And I am not a big person. Like I'm tall, but I'm very light. So
my ass will go flying across the room.
That's
So
what
I'm always really
airbags
cautious
for.
and really nervous around them.
Huh?
That's what airbags in the front for. Protection. In the back, too.
Oh, bearbags. I've never heard of that. But I also don't know anything about horses, really.
Yeah, airbags. You know, it's front and the back. It's called being thick. You know, it's protection. It's like a layer of fat around you. You know, it protects you from all damage. It's a pretty good world buff. You know. Yeah.
Don't doubt it.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Yeah, but mooses are more scary.
Hi, Link.
Let's be real here. Most embarrassing moment.
I see that sorrow. Oh, lordy.
This interview.
Most embarrassing moment.
Yeah.
Gotta. I'll drink to that. Go ahead.
Like legit though. Oh my god, it's so.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, when can this end? Jeez.
God, right? I mean, I can't believe I'm just. It's not like I was like super excited to come onto the show when you first announced or like asked me about it. Like, what, how many?
Yeah, don't worry. You get your paycheck in the mail.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when am I getting my paycheck? So I'm like,
You know, just like, you know. Or are you paying me in souls this time? Is that what the job opportunity is? That my paycheck?
That's disclosed off stream. Excuse me.
Oh, right. Sorry. Right. Sorry. Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not getting paid for this at all, guys. I'm here completely willingly of my own accord.
I love VR
If
chat.
no sign. If they no sign at all, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god." I was like, "Help me go."
Yeah, have you ever had a paranormal experience?
Okay.
I have only had one thing that I would vaguely describe as that. I'm not a believer. I'm a skeptic in just about every respect.
What do you mean?
The only thing.
Play Phasmophobia. Those ghosts fucking destroyed my ass. What do you
Those
mean?
things are fucking terrifying.
They're
The game
real.
ones-
Oh my god, the game ghosts are fucking terrifying.
Ooh. So when I played the tutorial, obviously the one you have to play on like your own and things like that, I got the worst possible ghost for me. I am petrified of children in horror movies. I love kids. I want kids. I am
Petrified.
of like any kids in horror movies, especially when they're like a ghost or like a demon or anything like that.
Yeah.
And the first one I get, I'm on the like spirit box. I'm freaking out because the atmosphere is like already like super like crazy, scary and shit. And I'm like, hello, and it's just like adult. I'm like, ah, it's a fucking kid. Like I just yeet the fuck out, and I was like, nope, I'm staying outside. Fuck this game.
Sounds like
It
we
was
should play this sometime
terrifying.
together.
I'm literally playing this later tonight, actually. So after we're done the interview,
I'm
probably going to start my own shenanigans in a few hours, and then shortly afterwards, me, Socks, Rebel, and Only Link, who's also in chat right now,
What?
is going to go play some Phasmophobia again. We're trying to make a more regular thing on Mondays about it.
You said Rebel.
No. Noble.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
Rebel.
Oh, I didn't sign up for
Did I
this.
say Rebel?
You literally said N Rebel. I was like,
Sorry, I
can't help it. I've got you on my mind.
oh yeah. Why is that?
What's
going on?
It's just because
You're very, very curvaceous.
Oh,
and
yeah.
really,
keep
Red
stying,
Hat, so,
keep
I mean,
keep
it's-
eyeing me up, huh?
What? Yeah. No, what? Am I talking about?
Getting a little excited.
I'm looking very respectfully. I'll have you know.
I mean, I know I did offer,
do you-
but
do you have-
you know.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, do you have another guest?
By the way,
What? No,
What?
no. I'm only a one-man show.
Oh, weird. I could have sworn I saw someone over there. It's bonkers.
anyways, so The only paranormal experience I've actually had, like
IRL, was that I could attribute to potentially being something like that. Is we had this tree in the backyard. Me and my sister used to climb all the time when we were younger, and we had been climbing it for like over a decade. And I went to go like crawl inside of it, and like kind of because there was like a weird nook that you had to go through to actually get through the tree, and then get to a section where I used to sit all the time. Like I had like stuff like nailed to it.
Okay.
Really bad for the tree. But I had like little pictures and things and like whatever like knickknacks and stuff around in this particular section of the tree because it was really like nicely knotted. And one of the times that I would like every other day, I was gonna go in there and I was gonna crawl up the tree and I was gonna go sit in my little section and like read my book or play my Game Boy Advance. And I went to go climb up and I noticed. And I looked up in the clouds, I saw my granddad's face.
Okay.
But it was all gray. It was all gray clouds on like a very white cloud day. Like it looks like it was a nice summer day. But there was just like gray clouds and it looked kind of like my granddad's face being very upset. And I was like, no. I'm not going, no. And for some reason my brain was like, don't go in the tree. I was like, all right. And just didn't. Went back inside, sat down. My mom was like, "Why aren't you aren't you playing outside and in the tree today?" I was like, "No, I'm just gonna sit inside and play my Game Boy." And later on that night, there was a storm and the wind blew just a little bit, and the whole fucking branch I used to sit on just went.
Damn, divine intervention.
The only thing.
What the heck?
It's like literally the only thing that I can even vaguely think of, and even then, I'm pretty sure my brain, as a child of like a 5 or like 6-year-old child or whatever, definitely probably made some of that up. Because like our memories are really wonky in that way. Like we kind of like start to just suddenly piece certain things together because this happened very shortly after my grandfather passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So believers
and you know, people that are very much so like into the paranormal would be like, oh my god, no, like that was him looking after you and like making sure you're okay and like protecting you and stuff. And I was like, sure, yeah, I guess. And if you want to view it that way, but I kind of more just view it like, yeah, like it was an old memory that I can look at now and just be like, oh, what's going on with my hip? Please come back, hip. Thank you. You know, it's an old memory. And we have a funny way of, even immediately after we've seen something, our brain starts to change things to our perspective just a little bit. And the further we've gone on from it, the more it's changed. The more we try and fill in the gaps with all sorts of different things and try and make connections in other different ways. So what likely happened in reality is I was probably just gazing at clouds with my sister that day because she was there. And I probably was going to go into the tree, but I already have a slight fear of heights. And that was probably just one of the days where it was a little bit worse than usual, and I just didn't want to go in the tree. And then just coincidentally, the tree branch fell. But my brain was like, oh no! You know, and there was a storm coming that night anyways, so that was probably what the gray clouds were. Our brains are really, really good at like stitching things together.
So it's too many years of behavioral psychology and stuff to not like be a huge skeptic about things like that.
Damn.
And like,
I'm a woman of science when it comes down to it. Like I obviously have I've got the demon,
you know, look and everything about me, but I can
do it freely without much issue because I'm just like, I'm not a believer.
Wait, have you been? Wait a second. Have you been analyzing me this whole time?
Yes.
I knew it. Oh yeah.
Oh,
okay. Tell me what's about me, huh? What's about me, huh? What's my behavior? Okay, I'm secretly a crazy person. Secretly, whatever. What?
Well, I mean, you're gonna have to wait until I actually write up the full paper.
Oh, really?
It's gonna be natural.
Right.
Yeah. So this was actually twofold. It was you interviewing me, but what you didn't realize is that I was actually interviewing you and you know, really trying to drive you in terms of responses and things like that in a very particular direction to analyze it. And then I'm actually going to be writing a paper earlier in the month, or later on in the month. Yeah, no worries.
If I don't get that paper,
very interesting piece.
You know, I'm gonna call you out. Just saying. No, you have to actually do it.
Shit. Don't actually make me write a full paper. I haven't read a fucking
All right, just write up.
analysis paper on like ages.
All right, what's your analysis of me using your words without writing?
What do you mean?
Just now, like instead of writing actual paper, you just say what you think.
I'm long and short of it is that you're an aspirational streamer with a particularly level head. Know what you want. You try and do your best to meet towards your goal. When you tend to go up against any sort of adversity against that goal and/or things not going your way, you tend to, or like things you don't expect to have gone a particular way, but end up going the adverse to it. You rather than, getting, obviously everyone gets upset about it. That's just a natural reaction, but you tend to think, how can I start moving towards fixing that and changing it? So you have a very much so initiative in terms of mentality, which is very, very helpful for especially this type of career in business because, well, like career in business, but you know what I mean? Like, as in like this,
Yeah.
Everything.
to be successful in this, you have to be aware to play the game. There is, and don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. Doing the streaming thing, you have to be aware of the game of it.
The
There
Game of
is a certain
Thrones.
game of it.
Someone's gonna
It
die
really
tonight.
is. It really is.
And like there is in so many different ways, like it's understood that like, hey, like yes, like genuine human connection is like the first and foremost thing that people really should be going for because that's what people actually want, and appealing to what people want is kind of half of what this whole thing is, but doing your own thing is as well. It's I could literally go into probably a half hour about this whole big thing about like the actual reality of how a big part of this all plays out. And that is like you have to be aware of like, hey, there's the bigger names, and that if you have a bigger name, you tend to have a lot more pull, which isn't necessarily a good thing. But it is the reality of the situation, which means you have to tiptoe around certain stuff. You also don't want to publicly, even if you disagree with someone's particular statements, if they're way bigger than you and you openly be like, hey, that's not fucking cool, there is a good chance that you're going to be a target to a lot of stuff. So playing the game is being like, okay, I'm just going to play my cards right and or word things in a certain way that's not going to come off as immediately aggressive, but will be still in a way that it's like, hey, like I don't condemn them, or I don't condone those actions, they're condemnable, like, but not in a way that is confrontational, in a way that's more of just like, hey, like, maybe that's not what you meant, maybe this is how you meant to say it instead, and like, so on and so forth from there. Like, you have to play the diplomat when you start getting from, into more of a spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very much so part of the game. There is a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of little subtle nuances that you start to pick up on, because you're like, oh, okay, this has an adverse reaction to what's going on. Like if I want to have like any sort of like consistent growth at all, I have to kind of play this particular game. Like, like connecting with, bigger streamers. The more bigger you get, the bigger streamers you end up kind of connecting to and trying to be a part of, and like maybe getting into the friend circle of and things like that. Like that is part of playing the game. But the smart way to do it is to actually build a genuine friendship and connection. Maybe not necessarily with that big streamer, but with people in that community. And don't force it. Like, be yourself, actually, like, genuinely get to know people. But it is a process, like any other time of ever getting to know anybody at all, it's a slow process of getting past that awkward stage of being like, hey, like, we've just introduced, it's a little bit awkward, we don't know what to talk about, we don't know each other's pacing, verbal patterns, body language, anything like that. It's all new. It's just that's socializing, and slowly but surely you get through the process of building a genuine connection with somebody. The more you talk to them, the more you interact with them, the more you see them. And since that a lot of the bigger names tend to kind of hang out in the same network, they'll tend to be in the same area all the time. If you start hang out with one person that you're like, hey, like we're actually good friends now, we talk, we hang out, hey, they're in a world, I'll jump in with them, you go and hang out and talk with them, and all of a sudden other people that are bigger as well start seeing your name, and then the next time they're going to go raid somebody in their same category, they're like, oh, I recognize that name.
Click. And it's that recognition, it's that getting that bit of exposure for it
that does actually, it's part of playing that game. It's not, and using the term playing that game makes it sound so much more devious and disingenuous, but it's not. It's
The game is just
basic human psychology. It's just how people work when they interact with each other. And this community is big, but it's also quite small. Like, in so many ways, the bigger streamer names all kind of are where a lot of the communities lie in. So it'd be hard pressed to find anybody here in VR chat who has been here for a decent amount of time and be like, hey, are you part of any streaming communities based around this game and stuff like that? And for them to be like, no, I just play this game on my own and I'm not part of any streamer communities whatsoever. Like, it's impossible because there's so many of us.
Yeah. What if I was just secretly What if I just secretly was analyzing you the whole time? See, reversal here. See, I didn't say what degrees I have. You don't know anything.
That's fair. I would actually be very, very curious. So, like, I'm always very curious to see what other people's impressions and things of me are, because then it gives me like a different perspective that I can look at and go, okay, well then maybe this is behavior that I need to change, or maybe this is something I need to avoid, or that I was unaware of. Because a big thing with all of this, with just people in general, is that we tend to do things unaware that may be potentially harmful to other people until it's brought up to us. It's why bringing things up nicely to other people when they have fucked up is a really important thing. Being like, hey, like, somebody says some sort of joke. Like, I've had more than a few friends say the attack helicopter joke.
Oh, yes.
People think that shit's funny. But what they don't understand is that actually has a lot of really negative and dangerous connotations for the trans community. And if you're supportive of trans people whatsoever, but you're unaware of that joke being that it's harmful, having one of your friends be like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but that joke actually has a lot of bad connotations for the trans community, or like the word trap.
Exactly.
I've had more than a few people try and use that term around me in a joking way, and I'm like, you don't understand. That joke term, even though it may describe something particular here in VRC, is still very much so a harmful term.
Yes.
Particularly when it comes to the trans community. So it's calling, like, not calling people out, but like genuinely informing someone that, like, hey, like, maybe you're unaware of this is a good thing. So if you actually have an analysis, I would actually be more than happy to hear it, because I want to know when I'm unintentionally doing something shitty.
I'm always looking for some way to improve myself.
I'll see you next week. I have to write my report first.
No, hold on. No. You held me to this.
Yeah. What do you mean? I'm the interviewer here. This is my show. What do you mean?
Report?
Yeah, what are you talking about? This is my show. This is my rules, Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
No, my opinions would be, to tell you the truth, various people vouch for you. If you didn't know that.
Oh, what? I didn't.
Before you were actually even interviewed, several people brought up your name, and I didn't know anything about you. So I was like, okay, that means I have to start doing research. Why are people vouching for you? Why you and not the other schmuck or down the road or whoever, right? So I started to watch and lurk, as I do, secretly spying, and obviously I knew that you were connected with Socks and a bunch of people that I started talking to, like Sprixer and a lot of people on the Tuesday nights and stuff like that, and that's how we met. We met at Tuesday on whenever that was, months ago.
Oh my god, that was ages ago.
Yeah, I don't really show up. To be honest, it's because it's very late. So, anyway, so when I did and I met you there, and just hearing, I think the best way to find about somebody is to hear other people talk about you rather than talk about yourself, because then it's where you get the more honest opinions. Like if there's no streams, there's nothing like that, so no one has to lie or anything. And when I hear several people, for example, tell the same story, sometimes you can detect inconsistencies. Maybe someone's like exaggerating, or maybe they're trying to do something for you or whatever. But for me, when I ask questions about, okay, well, who's this NiteByte person? Why do people vouching for her? Why should she be on my show? And I don't know. They just said generally that you're a good person, that you're level-headed, that you're awesome, that you're part of this community, and someone who's humble and actually deserves a lot of support. and that's why I brought you here today, because I feel like you deserve that. You know, I've done many interviews with many different people, and I'm always looking to get interesting, different perspective on things. And I want to support those people that are different, that are not like myself. Sometimes, you know, you can be similar in some ways, but different in other ways. And I want to help people out. You know, I look for talent. I look for people that are different, that deserve more than what they're receiving, you know. That's why I do an avatar showcase thing. Like, there's so many talented avatar creators, and I want to give back. So
I'm actually so stoked to participate that on this coming Saturday and stuff. Because
this coming Saturday,
and
7 p.m. EST. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so basically what you're trying to say to me is that people lied through their teeth to you about me.
Absolutely. Holy shit.
I'm a
You
huge
bitch. Actually, holy shit.
Bitch. I'm the worst kind of person.
Absolutely.
I'm not even a person. I'm
100%.
a demon. And like, yeah. Oh, like trust me, I've heard it all.
Everyone knows I'm actually the worst.
Sarcasm. Kappa.
Yeah.
For those people who don't know. But
yeah, I mean, it's funny to like. It's so weird because I'm like, I don't know. I don't consider myself like particularly level-headed in the slightest. If anything, I think I feel like I'm always like too. I don't know. I'm always just winging it half the time. People think I have like they always like usually seem so confident, like you know what you're talking about, and, like what you're doing and stuff. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just doing my best.
I get you. That's why these interviews are an hour. Because in an hour we can learn a lot about somebody, especially when they talk about themselves. And you can really see what kind of person they are after an hour. It's secret.
Yeah.
Secret analyzing.
That's the big brain move.
That's the 5-head move. That's the rider IQ emote using now. But yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the hardest, so like, I don't know. I like humble aside and stuff like that, like, the only thing I do is I just want to help people. That's the long and short of it. Is
more than anything else, I just want to help.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else aside. But the problem with that is that it was much easier to do when I was a smaller streamer because newer people would come into the community. I'd get to know them. We'd talk. Hang out. You know, if they were having an issue, I'd be like, hey, like it's come sit down, like we'll talk. Like I genuinely like want to like know what's going on with you and like actually help fix like what's like or like give you advice or something like that because I'm getting older. I can give life advice to certain people. Obviously the LGBT community being a big part of it, considering the 3 main parts of my stream is virtual reality, mental health, and an inclusive LGBT space. And I definitely have a lot of people from the LGBT community coming in and being like, hey, like, you know, like you're someone who's been openly LGBT for a long time. Like, can I get some advice on coming up to my parents or how to go about transitioning or anything, those things like that? I'm like, I always have some piece of advice for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was easier when I could sit down and be like, hey, like I've been through this type of trauma or this whatever, or I've gone through this and this is how I went through it. And I can always relay that to people. But it got to a point where obviously I started getting bigger and bigger, and it was like, okay, like every time I was done stream, I'd be coming back to like 30 DMs, and I'm like, that's a lot of messages, and I've only got so much spoons.
Yeah.
Have you heard the spoons analogy before?
No.
So the spoons analogy is something that's typically used in mental health circles. Particularly for those who tend to go to like therapy and things like that, like I do. And everyone starts off with a certain amount of spoons per day. You know, it's like, hey, like here you go. This is your 15 spoons. This is what you get to have for the day. And it's, you know, like, oh, I have to do the dishes and about housework. That's 1 spoon. I have to go to work. That's 5 spoons or whatever because it's really exhausting. I want to do some workouts. There's 2 spoons, so on and so forth. And by the end of the day, you tend to have either no spoons or some spoons.
Okay. Oh, so you're taking away.
People...
I see. Okay.
Yes. Exactly. So for some people, for me particularly, I have obviously like anxiety and depression, and I've got PTSD I'm working through. I'm very open about all this stuff on my stream too. Like people know that I've been through some serious shit. And I generally don't have a whole lot of capacity for social interaction for long periods of time. That may be very surprising considering how much I talk and how much I enjoy hanging out. But even if I'm enjoying it, it's still slowly taking spoons away because I find social interactions very exhausting. So by the time I'm done a stream, I'm normally like extra exhausted, and I've like even more spoons have been taken away, and I only have a few left. So when I've got like a bunch of DMs, every time I go into one of them and someone's like, hey, this major traumatic thing happened, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do my best to help you out here, but I'm not actually a therapist. Spoon down. Next one. Spoon down. Next one. Oh shit, I'm out of spoons. Okay, I'll grab one from tomorrow. And another one from tomorrow, another one from tomorrow. And then I start the next day, and all of a sudden I'm going, oh fuck, I don't have enough spoons to even start my regular day. I'll take some from tomorrow.
I get you.
And then by the time the end of my week's happened, I'm, days of, oh shit, I have no spoons and I can't reach that far to grab anymore. So now I'm burnt out, tired, and I don't have the mental capacity to deal with it. And it usually results in something akin to burnout or a full-on breakdown. And this is why when people say things like, hey, like your favorite streamers are not your therapist. And as much as I'm very much so an advocate for mental health and for mental health discussion and things like that, and actually like how to best go about these things, I am not a therapist. I cannot help that much because I am going through therapy too. I am very much so just as broken. And I'm doing my best to kind of go through that. But it's contradictory to my need to help people, which sucks because on one hand, I'm like, hey, I really want to help you. And it's difficult for me to resist that urge because I will push myself to the point of breaking even when I want to help and when I know I shouldn't be. So I think a big thing to really remember is that, like, hey, like, there is resources, there is lines that you can call when stuff does happen like that. And a big part of even coming on shows like this and stuff like that is that I want to really promote that, having a more positive outlook on mental health and like how to handle it and not have that stigma about talking about it is a big thing. Comfort your friends, like it's a big thing that, being emotional and showing emotions and vulnerability around if you're a guy, particularly showing those emotions and vulnerability around your guy friends is typically seen as a bit of a social taboo. It shouldn't be. That's silly. Hug your friends. Doesn't matter if they look like they're down and they're having a bad day, be like, hey, bud, like, you want a hug? There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why it's a thing. And like, for those of you who are unaware, by the way, I'm trans. I did transition from male to female. So I lived as a guy for the better part of 25 years. I know what it's like. And it's really, really weird how, whoa, Hip, you need to stop. It's really, really strange how, yeah, I do it all the time. Fuck you, Hip. Yeah, but no, it's one of those things that like, there's a weird amount of stigma with guys talking to guy friends about their emotions and what they're going through and the difficulties that they're having and like asking for physical affection. Having physical affection from one of your platonic male friends is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not gay. It's not any of that stuff. You're literally just a human being expressing your emotions, and that's okay. And I'm very much so a big advocate for mental health in that regard too, and making that kind of change because of the fact that like, particularly men suffer from an intense amount of depression all the time. And society and the way it's structured tends to stop men from getting the affection and help and the social interactions that they need to help relieve that.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta. Sometimes you just gotta kiss a homie goodnight. You know what I'm saying?
Kiss a homie.
Yeah. Kiss some homies in the chat. Kiss your homie goodnight. Play some. Get your local VR headset. Go up to your local homies. Give them some hugs, some head pats. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's. I mean,
I will soapbox rant for hours. I will, but like.
It is definitely like I do my best to try and promote like, hey, like you don't have to just go to one person. You don't have to have one single person that you go to for everything. Diversify about it a little bit more. Like be like, hey, like I've got this really good friend or this streamer who occasionally helps me out, but if they can't, who else can I talk to and hang out with, or like can I vent with or just get something off my chest with and stuff like that. And talking to your friends and being like, hey, like, and approach it this way too, being like, hey, can I vent to you for a bit.
Like, do you have the energy to deal with that?
Mm-hmm.
And
If someone says no, that's okay. That's not you getting rejected. That's them understanding their own limits and being like, I don't have the energy to deal with that right now because I'm currently going through my own mental health stuff. So like for me, I had to put a hold on most of that and helping others out as much as I want to because of what was going on with my father-in-law.
because I was like I can't right now. I'm literally all 100% of my
Resources are on worrying about my father-in-law right now and my partner, as much as I want to help. And even then, I actually kind of pushed it and did some
helping out anyways, and was like, hey, Kate, so here's what's going on, and like comforting and doing the usual thing there. But
you know, being there for your friends and really helping to hear, like when you're in a more stable place and you know that one of your friends isn't, reach out, be like, hey, let's talk.
Hey, let's sit down. Don't not like just
really be there to engage with them. But if it ends up being something like super serious, like we're talking like real serious, there are helplines. There is so much resources both in North America, Canada, US, EU, all over the world. There is so many resources that can be accessed for this stuff. All right, that's my soapbox rant.
All right, so who's your real who if you had one wife, who would it be? That's the real question.
Ooh. Okay. Are we talking like anime waifu or are we talking
Anime,
just, like, waifu in general?
video game. Yeah, not real life. Let's just say that. You can't just say my partner. I'm like, all right.
Okay, but here's the thing though. Like, I mean, me and my partner have been together for 10 years, so you know,
It's just a hypothetical. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, I really like Cortana from Halo or something. You know, or man, Tifa Lockhart. Oof. Man, or wow, that girl I saw in VR chat last night, the Void Club. Oof.
I'm trying to. Oh, are we allowed to? Oh, okay. Socks.
All right.
Oh no, she knows. She knows I am like a super fan. I'm like that person who is like, hey, by the way, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but like, I like really like Socks. She's like really cute, and she's cool and stuff.
Damn.
But it's funny because like it's definitely how I started out. It was very much so like when I first like got into everything like that, I was like, oh my god, big streamer Socks, like oh my, like there's no way I'm ever gonna get a chance to like talk and hang out with her. Then like 2 weeks later, we were talking, or we were hanging out in the same world and stuff like that, and she came up and she was doing her like usual like hi and like doing her usual thing where she like head pats you and stuff and gestures a bunch and be adorable like she is. And then I was like, oh my god, I got to meet Socks, and she actually came up to me. That is, whoa. Like I was starstruck for the longest time, and then it just kept going that way, and I kept running into her more often, and then I got VR, and I talked first, and then she was very surprised by that, and then I got VR, and then she was the first person I showed. I actually like bluffed it and like made it look like I was still in desktop, and even like did the bend over like the desktop style. And then I just kind of suddenly moved and was like, hi, and she's like, oh my god, like, well, I didn't actually say anything, but like, you know what I mean? She had that reaction of like,
Yeah.
And then like gave me a big hug and everything. She was super excited, and like we've slowly gone from me being like her like a big fan to being friends and like being like close friends now, to a point where we like hang out and talk on like Discord, or like we're doing like the stream tonight, and we've been doing like the Halo thing pretty consistently. Like every Halo game that comes out for the Master Chief Collection, we've been playing together. Like it's interesting to become friends
with the person you idolize and like that you view as like a celebrity almost.
Because in a lot of ways I'm like, yeah, like that's my, like, you know, Socks is my friend, I love hanging out with them, I love to talk with them, they're awesome, they're amazing. But then there's the other side of my, like the other half of me that's still just like, oh my god, I'm friends with Socks. And is like still that super fan. She's still there. And like I'm that dorky goofball who meets all these people and just goes like, oh my god, I'm such a big fan. You know, like the amount of times that I've like run into certain people that, you know, through like VRC and stuff like that, that I've been like, oh my god, I literally just got to meet like insert name here. And I've been following them for a while now, and they're really cool and they're really nice, and like, why are they talking to me? I'm like a nobody. They're in my chat, and they're like, dude, I've been watching your stuff for a while now too, you're super cool. I'm like, like I'm still like a goofy, awkward nerd hanging around with a bunch of like people that I'm like, oh my god, you're all such big names.
And like, you guys are awesome. I love hanging around with you. Like, being on this show, like, I'm fucking nervous as fuck because I'm like, oh my god, it's literally Rebel. Like, I am talking and hanging out with Rebel right now. Like that. I'm trying not to freak out and have like my like.
I'm just a person.
My fangirl moment, but like fangirl moment.
I think for me, I've had my moments like that, but I've usually like suppressed them, and because you have to have a certain level of professionalism. But like when it came to interviewing people, and I started interviewing some of the larger streamers, like some people with like literally thousands of viewers, I definitely felt like, oh shit, like I better not fuck this up. But like the biggest moment for me was when some of the GTA streamers came by to VR chat, and because I'm so knowledgeable, I play this game for. Yo, dead guy, you switch the camera angle.
I was gonna be like, he's talking.
Yeah, I'm literally talking. What?
There you go.
Thank you. Sorry, Anyway, so basically, sorry, I lost my place there. Yeah, once I was interviewing, getting into the GTA people, and I actually got to like show them around VR chat, and this is sort of like in a way like my baby, right? Like this is something I've been committing to for like a year, or VR chat wise, like almost 3 years now. So when I showed them my talk show world before I actually interviewed some of them, I was very nervous because I was like, what if they just say this is stupid, or like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what is this shit? Like, this is cringe, dude. Like, what are you doing? But like when I showed them this world and showed them like everything and all the whatever, and then I said like, hey, do you want to be interviewed by me? And they're like, yeah, dude, 100%. I was like, oh, whew. Like I felt like the weight off my
relief. Yeah.
It's like I was playing a video game and I used my 100 out of 100 speech skill. I was like, I used my 10 out of 10 charisma. Like finally,
just do your roll for persuasion.
Yeah, roll natural 20. It's that easy.
I am a giant D&D nerd, by the way.
I never played D&D, but I know the lingo.
Yeah,
but
oh my god, I played so much.
But yeah, and then I guess that like me doing interviews has sort of earned me credibility over time, because now if I say like, oh, I interviewed this person, they're like, oh yeah, I know that person. And if you interviewed them, I guess I can trust you. It's right. So it's
well, I mean, it also. Sorry, go ahead.
It also validates me as a legitimate person, so that as well. So that helps me out as well. Yeah. So that's great, especially when some people vouch for, like, for example, some people who are like way bigger than me. I interviewed them, and they're like, "Hey, you should interview my friend who's also very big." And I was like, "Okay, all right, I'll do it. Fuck it."
Yeah. Oh, I think a big part of it too is like you also get to genuinely know a lot of people, because sitting in this chair, answering questions and asking them and stuff like that, there is a full-on conversation that happens, and you do get to know people a lot more, like the personal side of them they would probably have really done on their own just naturally.
Yeah, or like their viewers.
Yeah, exactly. So having conversations like this, I imagine you'd probably get to know people really, really quickly, which would make things a lot more easier to establish that connection, like I was talking about before, where you've got that,
Damn, you called me out.
The
skipped
time
yeah
necessary.
I
you
skipped
just go
it
straight
all
into knowing more intimate details. The more intimate details you know, the more the more you build that rapport, that connection within that, that genuine friendship with somebody. And because of that, you probably have ended up having a lot more connections and genuine friendships than most people would on average by just a regular conversation.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah,
you called me out.
It's
Can't believe you exposed me.
Everything about everything. So
all right.
Don't let me go too much.
Yeah, you're gonna start analyzing all my interviews.
Oh yeah, I love analyzing. I mean, okay, so like one of my favorite things to do when I was first going through and doing my behavioral psychology and English back in post-secondary and stuff like that, when I first started when I was like 19, I used to sit down on a bench with a couple of friends who were also in behavioral psychology, and we would just sit there and analyze people's behaviors and like their patterns. And we did this really, really good one where we were sitting down just in the university campus or the college campus. And there was some folks that were standing right in the center of like one of the walk areas and things like that. And it was very much so a dynamic of like one girl and three guys. And it's funny because we were sitting there like watching and just doing the usual thing, like writing down notes and like our observations, what was going on, which was part of like the project and everything. And we very specifically noted how there was a physical touch from one of the guys that she was already kind of leaning slightly away from. And we don't notice this behavior. It's the difference between like this and like this. That's really all it is. It's super minor. And it's easy to accidentally mistake it too.
I noticed that. I have 10 out of 10 perception.
Yeah. But it's the little tiny subtle things like, yeah, it's like a slight lean away or how close of a distance there is between you and someone else. Something as simplistic as like you can tell the relationship with somebody else that two people have together by how close they'll stand. It's as simple as that. But another part is body language. Are you very closed? Are you more open? Are you more scrunched up, or are you more kind of like loose and relaxed? Are your, brow lines, are you a little bit more like, it's a nice mug, by the way.
Yeah.
Oops. Boop. But yeah, it's a whole thing. And when we were sitting on this bench, we had noticed that when one of the guys went to go like be like, hey, and did this, she kind of like leaned a little bit more and was like, and it was very particularly, and people may not understand this about psychology, is that is considered a positive action, not a negative one. It's not positive in a good way, like as in like a yay, like a happy positive. It's a positive in a adding something to the situation, which caused a adverse reaction. So a positive action had an adverse reaction to it, which resulted in very likely a what's the term? Oh my god, it's been too many years. But essentially, it's just like that body movement and action displays to the individual who briefly touched her shoulder or hand or whatever, or not hand, her arm. They're like, oh, okay, we're not at that level. And it's that brief little tiny thing like that you get to notice. And like she was very particularly, she was more leaning towards this one guy, which is funny because he was very much so not paying attention to her advances whatsoever. She'd be twirling her hair, she'd be doing all these other actions.
Damn.
Standing a lot closer. Every time she'd stand a little bit closer, he'd actually kind of move a little bit further away and it's the whole, it was a circle of these two other guys trying to get her attention, her trying to get his attention, him being like, nah, I'm done with all of y'all. It was really interesting to sit there and like write it all down and really realize all the actions that were happening and like how each of them would react.
So what you're saying is we all wish that we were playing Skyrim and you can just reload and correct the right path, That's the moral of the story here, is that basically you only got one shot in life. If you fuck it up and you're trying to take those advances on that girl, you wish you could reload and be like, oh man, maybe I should have done something differently, but secretly you can't. So yeah. That's basically
it's my understanding. Social cues, body language cues, things like that, actually getting somewhat of a grasp of very basic psychology is super helpful. Yeah. So it's I cannot explain enough how many times that has actually helped me avoid accidentally doing something that would be very very adverse or causing a bad reaction in somebody that presumed we were more closer than we actually were in terms of like friendship, and I like go to like a hug or something like that, and they're like, no, I'm not in physical affection, like we're not that level. Like it's helped me avoid certain situations like that because I'm actually really bad at naturally doing it. That's why I'm always analyzing stuff. I'm also not usually a big fan of looking at people in the eyes. And I'm also very particular about my environment. And
what you looking at?
Well, no, because in your case.
Yeah.
But yeah. But no, I actually recently found out this year that I am very, very likely on the autistic spectrum.
Really?
Which would make sense, is why I'm so good with numbers and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I even sat down with my mom and had a conversation about it recently, and I was like, hey, yeah, like me and my partner like talked about it, and like we have a pretty solid like feeling that I'm actually on the spectrum and stuff because of these like actions and behaviors, and we've noticed these things that help with that. And when I brought it up to her, she's like, yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah. And she's like, sweetie, when you were like 6, we had to make a schedule for you, posted it on the side of the wall, and you had to check it every single time you had to do any action. You would come up and check the schedule and make sure that was what you had to do at that particular moment in time. I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, you came home in such a huff and you were so upset. You even left your bag and everything. You just took your shoes and walked home because you were done with elementary school that day. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's just like, it was because they had changed, did an emergency, they done an assembly that replaced and moved math up a block, and then they removed the social studies or whatever it was. So I ended up being really upset after the assembly because I was like, no, this is supposed to be social studies. And they're like, no, it's math right now. And I'm like, no, this is social studies. They're like, no, it's math. And I was like, I'm leaving. And I just like left apparently and just walked home. And she's like, you can't do that. And I was like, I refuse. They messed. It was all wrong. It was just wrong. And
20 years later,
freaked the fuck out.
I still hate social.
Where's
fuck math?
That's the funny thing though, is like now I'm at this age where I'm like, I'm starting to realize certain things that like I'm like, oh no, like me having a set schedule is so helpful for myself, and that's why I had a schedule and consistent schedule right off the bat when I started streaming. Like I was from the get-go, I was like, nope, we're gonna be doing this on Mondays. I think I was doing it originally Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then it was 8 o'clock start every time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I added Thursday and decided that I was going to do
afternoons for different ones. But it's always been those days, and there's only been 2 times I've changed stuff. Adding Thursday,
which I did still at 8 o'clock. And then Mondays and
Fridays turned into afternoon streams,
which are now actually changing again. It's going back to 8 o'clock starts.
Mm-hmm.
So
well,
it's that consistency has always been necessary.
I have to say that we're going to have to wrap up here, Selena.
Totally fair. Sorry, I go on a lot of rants and tangents and stuff like that. I'm a motor mouth now.
No, that's fine. I enjoy, like I always say, interviews are usually an hour, but if it's a good conversation, I'll extend it. I have no problems with it.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
This means that you have more to talk about next time. See, that's a segue for a next interview.
Ooh, nice.
Or podcast.
I'm now back on the show. You enjoyed me being here?
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Anything for a queen. What do you mean?
Damn right, I'm a queen.
Well, anyway, so basically, sorry, we'll wrap it up here. So, we'll toss the camera to you if you have anything you want to shout out or say, like just like, hey, this is my socials, this is my Twitch, my Twitter. Hey, I'm streaming in like 30 minutes. Hey, whatever,
Yeah, cool. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. So, long and short of it is, twitch.tv/NiteByteVR. You can find just about everything else from that source and that link. I will actually be streaming later on today, probably actually pretty shortly after the interview's done,
Because it's 6 o'clock. So I normally start in about 2 hours. I'll probably start early just because. And then, yeah, shout outs obviously to Socks because she's been such a huge inspiration to me actually getting into all this in the first place and has been a consistently amazing friend from the get-go. Shout out to Grimsy VR. Funny, it's weird that a lot of people don't actually know about her, and I recently got the chance to start talking with her and being her friend more, and she's literally one of the major names that got me into VR chat and about all this in general. Grimsy VR, seriously get over there, give her a follow. She is awesome. Yeah.
All right.
Really just
Yeah.
come back, keep like all the people that came from my channel and stuff like that. If this is your first time here, really give a follow to Rebel, and if you can do any sort of level of support whatsoever, including like subs or whatever, Rebel deserves so much more like attention than I think that's currently going on here. Like this, what he's doing here is amazing and super cool. Get over here and give a follow and hang out the next interview as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, round of applause for everybody. So, yeah, thank you so much to NiteByte again.
Heck
Go
yes!
hit her up, guys. Go follow her. Go check her out. She's going to be playing some Phasmophobia for a bunch of people, so that's going to be awesome. Thank you so much for this interview. I really do appreciate it. Before you go, we'll take a quick photo, but I'm going to end my stream now. I'm going to go raid somebody, from VR chat, give somebody some love, and I'll see you guys tomorrow another day for another interview or just a general hangout. All right, just give me a minute here. I'm gonna end my stream, and then before you go, we'll take a photo, and then you can head off and go about your business.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, 1 second here.
I have to plug it in my body.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's find someone to raid real quick. Yo, thank you so much. Only link fad for the 100 bits. I appreciate it. Thank you.